Hello, folks. Okay, let's see if we can focus a bit more on some kicks as well. Realistic combos. That's what I think I'm discussing here. Your distances on realistic combos, a short then a long. The making first contact and then you're following up on second contact, whether you knock someone back or somebody's backing away. Also practice the opposite as well, but very common for people to back away. So to avoid your kick. So if you're following up that first one, follow up with a longer range one. And also don't do a million feet and leg adjustments on the come down and stuff. Come straight down or bring your leg back. If you're going to bring it back, be decisive about that. Right? Just don't do a lot of adjustments before or after. Practice no movement and when you throw a kick. No little steps, no little shifts. I like doing a little shift. It gives me momentum, but I practice a lot of times just throwing the kick as well. So yeah, when you're bringing your feet back, okay, like we said before, reminders, don't bring your feet back together. Try to avoid that, bringing them back together, because that's when you're most off balance, and even coincidental or accidental bumps, you crash into each other, can knock you over. So be decisive about your positioning as well, your stances. The fundamentals are true, but also at the advanced level, you could break the rules, just know when to break them. Yeah. Keep your fists tight too. Don't have them waving all over the place. You don't be waving all over the place. Land proper. You can, if that's your style to be bobbing like a maniac, that's fine too. Just make sure that you don't come to a standstill right before throwing the kick. If you're going to bob like a maniac, be able to throw a kick right with those bobs. All right? Remember not to be kicking tall giants. You can get your hips into your kicks, but don't overextend. Yeah. So remember not to be kicking giants. You could practice your high kicks, just also practice mid-range and low range as well. All right? Oftentimes we do excessively high kicks. It's crazy. So you can get your hips into your kicks, but don't overextend. Don't overextend the upper body to leverage your kicks back. Going a little back and any type of movement can help you. Just know the balance of it. Okay? There's a natural slight angle or pivot to the planted foot, the pivot foot. A planted foot without some pivot or position or angle can behave as a narrow stance, very narrow. So some kicks are basically impossible without a pivot, or they're significantly lacking. So if you can't have a pivot on those kicks, you're not going to be able to really throw those kicks. And even if you force yourself to, you'll probably tear your groin apart. So here I'm showing you that a lot of your being off balance when you throw a kick is because your upper body is probably tilting left or right of you. And you're moving off your center line, the kicking center line. Remember to do a tight chamber, so there's a maximum kick forward when executed. Otherwise, you'll usually get like a weak kick, and you'll just have like a small motion forward of the actual kick. The rest is just moving forward while rising up. And although you can use that to your advantage to be deceptive, a lot of times if that's not your intention, then it's just a poorly executed kick with not a lot of power. You'll wind up just slapping somebody. Don't exaggerate your hands. outward when you're throwing it. Try to be mindful of that. Try to be mindful to keep guard. Don't bend your upper body all the way back to get leverage either. If you can't be guarded, because then you're just taking yourself out. So a lot of times I'll practice trying to be really upright and just get the leg part going, and to keep the hands in a guarded position. There is a little bit of throw out of your hands for balance, for power, sure. Just make sure that you find that middle ground, that balance to it. Don't do an excessive one that makes you vulnerable or weak. And so here, be able to throw the same kind of kick in different stances or with your feet in different positions as well. So you're not just telegraphing, or you're not just limited to, oh, I can only throw a front kick if my left leg is, 2 feet from my right leg. Be able to throw them in any position. All your kicks don't have to be textbook power and extension either. You can mix in some fast flick-like kicks, and quick drawbacks can be effective to mix in as well. Practice landing in different positions from your starting point, similar to sidestepping out of the kick during the comeback. Like we talked about when we're changing positions, or your natural ways to change position, another clever or deceptive way to change position is when you're drawing back your foot on the comeback. You could bring it back, but bring it back with an intention to be moving, transitioning into a different stance, or bring it back into a new stance right away. Okay? But you could do these sidestepping type motions, which you could do as you're coming out of the kick, and that's kind of playing with a little bit of your balance as well, and it'd be very clever. So remember, kick high, they can duck it, and the lower you get, they can get stuck on that one. It's much harder. I feel it's way more difficult to try to get out of the way or of a lower kick, or especially one to the gut. You end up absorbing that. Opponents end up absorbing that a lot. Showing you some areas, you should be well aware of these areas to hit, and there's different dynamics to hitting them as well. So your roundhouses and stuff like that are coming to the side of the knee, and your thrusting front kicks and stuff, or linear ones, are going to the front of the knee and stuff. So you could play with the ones coming to the side. It's interesting if you really throw or come about on a roundabout way, you could sort of throw your opponent off guard in the timing, or go around a block or something. Similar to like in baseball or something, where someone throws an off-speed pitch. So they're swinging ahead of time. They think it's coming a lot faster than it is.